I think I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that 16 Candles set the bar for teen comedies. Now, I didn't. Notice how I didn't say it was a high bar. This movie is extremely problematic, but it was a bar nonetheless, right? I went in the kitchen to get some water, and when my niece walked by me, she was like, "What are you supposed to be, one of the nerds from Bully?" Woo! I love that. That is my favorite game of all time. I'm not a gamer. I'm staring at my little PlayStation 5 right now. Haven't turned the joint on in like 5 months. Bully. Love Bully. That's that's the best game that Rockstar's ever put out. When y'all gonna release the second one, Rockstar? Let's talk about that. Anyway, 16 Candles was it was unfortunately part of the collection of films, John Hughes films, I should say specifically, that got me into film. Like, that was the beginning. This was my entry into my love for film. And like I said, unfortunately, it had to be Mr. John Hughes. I find the man's humor very questionable. I mean, his films are plagued with racist stereotypes, sexually harassing driven humor, classism, gender roles, lack of diversity, like baby doll, the list goes on. Unfortunately, though, I have too much nostalgia with this movie. I do. Well, quite probably his entire catalog, and I do still love this movie, but I am not afraid to side eye it, because why did we let this man get away with a lot of these? We gonna talk about it. 16 Candles is a 1984 coming of age teen comedy written and directorial debut, might I add, by Jonathan Hughes. And I'm gonna use his government name, bastard. And stars 80s icon Molly Ringwald, as well as Anthony Michael Hall and Michael Schufling. Against a $6.5 million budget, the film grossed $23.6+ million worldwide. So suffice to say, the studios gave Mr. Hughes his welcome with open arms into Hollywood. Samantha Baker is turning 16, a milestone birthday for most, except her entire family forgets it, because they're more caught up with her out-of-touch older sister who's getting married. Chaos reigns as Sam is also nursing a crush on the school heartthrob Jake Ryan, while fending off the relentless and I'm gonna say it, predatory advances of the geek. I feel like every movie I talk about, I bring this guy up because homeboy was making them rounds in Hollywood in the 80s. He was gonna get that name out there. Jim Carrey auditioned for the role of the geek. Imagine that. A whirlwind of teenage awkwardness, incredibly insensitive subject matter, and a classic house party all culminate in this beloved iconic birthday themed feature. So light those candles, forget about the, parental neglect for a second, and have a slice of cake with me while we revisit 16 Candles from 1984. Our teenage journey begins just how every 80s and 90s film begins, with the freaking mail being delivered on the doorstep. So overused, like it's of the times. I was about to say, do they still do it? No, they don't do that. They might in the dreaded sundown towns. The Baker family is yelling through the house for all 4 of their kids to get their fat asses up. Hut 1, hut 2. The 2 youngest, Mike and Sarah, are already arguing, and Pops has to come out the bathroom to tell Mike to behave, since their oldest, Jenny, who is the next to come out, is getting married the following day. Jenny ends up stealing the bathroom from Pop, saying she has a serious problem. Baby's got her period. Our protagonist, Samantha Baker, with a very, very dirty bedroom, is checking her body out in the mirror. She thought she would wake up with a nice, fresh 16-year-old rack. She picks up her phone with her best friend Randy still on the line and says, "Nope, I look exactly the same as I have since summer." She rushes off the phone saying she's got to head downstairs since her family's probably pissed off they haven't let them wish her happy birthday. And after admiring herself in the mirror, she says, "You need 4 inches of bod and a great birthday." Downstairs, everyone's scrambling, and when Samantha plops down the stairs, her mother says, "You missed breakfast again. And you'll have to buy lunch today. And I didn't have time to fix your carrots." Mike's hating ass says, "Yeah, well, she's only eating carrots to increase the size of her breasts." I would smack the shit out of him. Sam's like, "That's it? You don't have anything else to say to me today? What would you like me to say, Samantha?" I think we all need to say this next line together. We all know it. Come on, say it with me. I can't believe this. They fucking forgot my birthday. Our title sequence is a wide montage of Sam's high school. They've got a massive yard. God damn, I'm jealous. 80s as all hell outfits, dirty white sneakers, vibes, man, just vibes. This one cat can't get his locker open, and when he does, all this shit falls out. There's couples putting their hands in each other's back pockets, locking pinkies. We ain't do all this when I was in school, but we did see, the emo couples standing in the corner at 7 o'clock in the morning, meowing. Randy tells Sam she should cut her family some slack because they're probably more worried about her sister's wedding. But that's not the point. She wasn't expecting, like some big breakfast birthday party, but she said the least that they could have did was just a little happy birthday is all it took. Like they was just acting like it was another day. And for the record, I do not like this Randy girl, her best friend. You gonna see why in a second. Actually, you gonna see multiple reasons. Randy then goes on suggesting that Samantha remind them that it's her birthday.
As if.
Since Sam was 12, she's been looking forward to her sweet 16. A big party, big band with tons of people. Randy chimes in saying, "In a big Trans Am in the driveway with a big ribbon around it, some incredibly gorgeous guy that you met in France, and you do it on a cloud without getting pregnant or herpes." I don't need a cloud. Just a pink Trans Am and the guy, right?
Black one. Black guy. A black Trans Am. A pink guy.
That's always bothered me every time I watch this movie. Cause hold on. Cause what do you mean by that? Like, what if Samantha did want a black guy? You got a problem with that? And then you doing the, "oh, thank God" face. Like, see, this shit I'm talking about. In class, Samantha's answering questions on a piece of paper that a friend has written for her, containing various confidential questions. The first says, "Have you ever touched it?" And this chick writes, "Almost." Question number 7, "Have you ever done it?" She writes, "I don't think so." Girl. Question number 8, "If you answered, 'I don't think so,' would you ever if you could?" She writes, "I guess so." Question number 9, "With who?" Be honest, your name's not on this, so it's okay. Very slowly and very dramatically, Sam turns her head, giving a little over-the-shoulder look at her biggest crush in the whole wide world, Jake Ryan, who's staring right at her, and she writes his name down. Question number 10, "Does he know that you want to with him?" She writes, "No!" Then folds her paper up and tries to smoothly pass it to Randy behind her. But oh look, the racist Debbie Downer is asleep, womp womp, and Jakey takes the opportunity to collect it with his foot. Side note, love his outfit. When class is over, Sam is freaking out because Randy didn't get the note, her punk ass was asleep. A girl named Jennifer Woods gave Sam a sex test during child development, and she was supposed to do it and pass it to Randy in independent study. And even though she didn't put her name on it, she says, "It was really embarrassing. I had to name who I would do it with if I were to do it." After she brings up the question about who'd she do it with, and the guy being Jake Ryan, Randy's like,
Jake Ryan? He doesn't even know you exist.
Like, why the hell would you say that? I was about to say it again. This is what I'm talking about. Like, obviously he knows who she is. He literally sits right behind both of y'all. How does he not know that she exists? And who cares if he's a senior and he's taken? Like, goddamn, let the girl fantasize. So, Don't look at my beard, don't look at the hair. Anyways, I left this little scene out because it does not add any really value to the story, but while I'm editing this, I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. This is like an extended scene. Apparently the version that I have on my computer and the version that I watched, it's an extended version of the movie. And by extended, there was only one scene added in there. Like, huh? That's not extended. But you know, I think this version of the film is the Arrow video version. I don't think that it's 4K. It could just be Blu-ray. But anyway, the scene is, I'm gonna play the scene while I'm talking, or you know, as much as I can show. But basically Sam and Randy are in the lunch line getting food. They're just talking about a whole bunch of nothing. Randy brings up the carrots, you know, about Samantha's breasts, and she asks if they're working. It's stupid, but right before that, there's like it's like a 7-second shot of Jake sitting at his lunch table, and he reads the note, and he sees his name written on it, and he's like, oh my God, she likes me. Blah, blah, blah. They pay for their food, and when they come out to the cafeteria, Samantha eyes him, and she throws her tray on Randy, and she says,
Jake's here. Don't want him to know I eat.
in weight training, Jake is talking with the meathead, asking what he knows about Samantha Baker. They're doing pull-ups on this metal bar, and each one responds when they pull themselves up. Jake asks his friend if he would ever go out with Samantha, and this joker says, depends on how much you paid me. She's not ugly. But his friend argues that there's nothing there, man. It's not ugly, it's just void. This is the first time in probably, I don't know what, like the 25 times I've seen this movie throughout my lifetime that I realized he said void, as in VOID, not what I heard those every single time I've watched it. I thought he said boy. I thought he was saying like, oh, there's nothing there, man. It's just boy, as in like talking about her chest. Jake's like, you know, there's something about her. It's kind of cool the way she's always looking at me.
Maybe she's retarded.
The camera pans back, and look how low the bar is, literally and figuratively as well. The bar is low, very low. Feet all on the ground and everything. Like y'all just playing. Jake says Sam looks at him like she's in love, and Meathead says, Jake, she's a child.
So?
Let's move on. His bro reminds him he's in a relationship with Carol, saying that she's a woman. And we smash cut with a shot of her titties and one of the most 80s sound effects ever. Call me a child, but that sound is funny as hell to me. Sam and Randy are very creepily watching Carol take a shower and acting like this girl has a BBL or something, like, you know, big titties, fat ass, when it's nothing of the sort. Like, you're all beautiful. Come on.
I'm gonna kill myself.
See, no. Oh, also, the actress who plays Caroline is Haviland Morris, and that's not actually, you know, in the movie, that's not actually her body and her breasts, because the point in the joke is that her body is more developed than Sam and Randy, but she actually didn't have a bigger bust than them, so they had gotten a body double. School's over, and the girls hit the school bus. The funnest place ever, right? The bus clears out, and we're finally introduced to the geek, but I will call him by his real name, Teddy. He rolls up on Sam asking, how's it going? I need you to back the hell up off of me. That's first off, let's start there. Ted asks if she's going to the New Faces dance, and Sam says it's none of his business. What the hell? Across the aisle is a lonely Joan Cusack with her neck brace, and we even saw her brother John if you played I Spy way in the back. Ted tells Sam she doesn't have to dance, you know, she can just stand around with him and the homies, and you know, you can just be you, shawty. Right. Still all over her neck, smelling her like this man is a predator. When they get close to her stop, Sam tries to get up, and he's like, well, just answer me one question.
Yes, you're a total
Gotta love the 80s. I only like that word when queer people use it, okay? Anyway, after she says that, he says, like, be serious. He says, am I turning you on? When Sam gets home and goes up to her room, the Twilight Zone theme starts playing as she sees her half-naked grandparents going back and forth about packing. That is, until her grandmother catches her.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, God.
Sam asks if she looks any older today, and of course they don't get the true underlying question. I mean, if her parents didn't remember, why would your grandparents, you know? She excuses herself to go get set up in Mike's room, and after talking to herself, as we all do, her other grandfather comes out of the bathroom, all holly jolly to see her. Her second grandmother enters, and another thing that has always bothered me was how he was so quick to touch up on her. Like, look at this. Like, oh my god, get the f off of her. Creep. Her grandmother greets her, then spreads her arms out, checking out her body.
She's gotten her boobies.
Oh, I'd better go get my magnifying glass.
Then this bitch feels her breasts. What kind of freaky shit is going on here? Sam goes to her brother's room and lays on the bottom bunk in distress when an Asian guy named Long Duck Dong, I know, says, "What's happening, hot stuff?" As many fans of this movie know, every time Long Duck Dong's name is said, a gong sound effect is played. Ignorant. And you know what's crazy, I just found this out too, that wasn't even in the script. Like, somebody added that in post-production. Like, somebody had a little too many beers and just thought that was funny. Straight white people. Anyway, Long Duck Dong is an exchange student who lives with the set of grandparents that are staying in Samantha's bedroom, so it's the father's parents. Miss Baker tells Mike about Long Duck Dong, and Mike calls him bizarre, telling his mother that he hopes she burns the sheets and mattresses after he leaves. I'ma smack the out of this little boy. Sam enters and her mother tells her that she's going to dinner tonight with Jenny, her husband, and his parents, and asks if she can remember to turn off the stove in 20 minutes.
I can remember lots of things.
Sammy's hanging out in Jenny's room, who I would absolutely say is the most out of touch character in this movie. She's talking about her soon-to-be husband, Rudy, who is totally enamored of her. I mean, I've had men who have loved me before, but not for 6 months in a row. Never been with a boy more than 6 months. I'm also noticing she has a plate full of cut up lemons and she dabs one on her elbow. Weird. She trying to like lighten up her dark spots or something. Then there's photographs of teapots and dishware. Like, this, bro, this chick is on another planet. Sam says she thinks she's in love. And when Jenny asks what's the deal, Sam reveals she's not sure that he knows that she exists.
Sam, I really don't have time for this.
That would have been the moment right there. I would have gave it to her. Sam's like, well, excuse me, ho. I always listen to you talk about your boyfriends.
Darling, is something bothering you?
Stop playing with me before you get beat up, bitch.
Gaslighting. Jenny tells Sam she's acting like an asshole, then calls her jealous that she's getting married and getting all the attention. At dinner, everyone is staring down Long Duck Dong like they never seen an Asian person before, jaws all on the floor. And it's not long before Sam brings up her school dance so she can get the ASAP, saying it's very important and they're getting graded on it. Grandma Baker, being the sweetie pie she is like, wait, I have a wonderful idea. How about you take Long Duck Dong with you? And Samantha is pissed. When the girls enter, Sam says, I wonder if Jake's here. And Randy's toxic ass says, I don't think it's wise to get all jacked up over something that's not a thing yet. Like, damn, bitch, can I have anything? Can I live? Can I live? Sam then drops some words of wisdom with, yeah, well, when you don't have anything, you don't have anything to lose. I mean, the girls that get it. You can still give a little fantasy. There's nothing wrong with having a crush. Like, bro, she's a teenager and it's still her birthday. Like, why are you being a dick? Teddy is telling his friends about Sam and how she's the one. The bro on his left is watching her through red spy goggles. I'm gonna say it again, predators. Why do you have this at a school dance? Ted tells his minions he has a relationship with her, and by the end of the night, they'll be together. True by Spandau Ballet starts playing as Samantha sees Jake and Caroline slow dancing. Just look away, girl. And Randy abandons her instead of saying, come on, let's go do something fun. But as I said, bad friend. Jake catches Sam staring at him, giving her a little smile before she freaks out and turns around to discover even though True just started, an upbeat Jive Get Down is playing now, and Teddy is talking about, I knew you'd come around, as he starts sporadically dancing.
What the fuck are you doing?
He's like, very hot, very hot. Oh, tonight it's happening. Tonight it's happening. Oh, brother, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment. I'm blowing your mind, aren't I? Poor Sammy is so humiliated. She bursts into tears and runs away down a dark hall, sliding her back along the brick. They didn't have enough money to air condition the entire gym, so all the scenes that they shot in there, it was like over 100 degrees. Y'all smell that? Like, woo, I know it smelled crazy in there. Haviland Morris had to switch her dress multiple times because she was sweating so much. Teddy ends up making a bet with his homies that he'll get Sam's underpants as proof by the end of the dance. Oh, look at Long Duck Dong. He found somebody to dance with. Jake rolls up behind Teddy and he starts asking him about Samantha, and Teddy's like, she's got smallish tits, a decent voice, smells pretty good. She drives me crazy. Too much. Way too much. Jake asks if she came here with him, and he says no, but if it's okay with his dad, then she's going home with him. Sure, bud. Sam's still in the hallway, crying as Caroline and her two girlfriends come down the hall, and Caroline even goes out the way to ask Sam, how's it going? Look at these legs, these 80s Barbie doll legs. Come on. Sam goes into the shop section of her school to sit in an unfinished car and be melancholic as the geek follows her, watching by a rack of tools in which she knocks over. Teddy is the first person that she tells it's her birthday.
You say it's your birthday. It's my birthday too.
Read the room, I'm begging you. She starts opening up and Ted asks if it would make her feel better if he told her one of his secrets, revealing something that we all knew, the walls knew, the car knew, the rack that he knocked over knew. He's a virgin. He says this information cannot leave the room because it would devastate his reputation as a dude. And Samantha is just cackling. And I don't know what the hell would make him think this was okay, but he tries to climb on top of Sam and he ends up hitting the horn. She's like, what the f are you doing, twink? And pushes him off. He apologizes, but she tells him that it's okay. But he thinks that her saying that was her saying that it's okay, like, you know, you can try it again. No, and he does it again. Sam's like, you know, just now I felt how much you really like me. What do you mean by that? Sam says she felt it on his leg. So Teddy reaches and he pants and she's like, come on, dude, I don't want to see it. But he just pulls out a stick of mints. They have a short heart-to-heart before Teddy says, would it be totally off the wall if I asked you if I could have sex with you? And Sam says that him asking is not as off the wall as why she won't. She tells Teddy that she's saving herself and he's like, who? He ends up pushing it out of her and she reveals that it's Jake Ryan. Am I tripping? Isn't there a character named Jake Ryan on Hannah Montana? Let's check. Jake Ryan, Hannah Montana. Yes, there is literally a Wow, I knew I wasn't tripping. That has to be a 16 Candles reference. Anyway, Teddy's like, you like Jake? Jake's that's the homie. I was just talking to Joan in the gym. So now Sam is on X Games mode. She's like, oh my God, what should I do? Should I go up to him? Should I say, hi Jake, I'm Samantha? Or no, maybe I should let him come to me, or just going back and forth with the teenage hormones. And Teddy is, you know what? One thing I will give him is that he is supportive, because he tells her to go for it. She gives him a kiss on the cheek, gets out the car, but he stops her, revealing he made a bet with his friends that he would do it with her. And when Samantha asks how, Teddy says,
Can I borrow your underpants for 10 minutes?
Jake's dancing with Caroline and he's so bored, just, poor baby, looking around for Samantha. And Caroline says that they should ditch the dance and go to Jake's house, saying how much she loves it when his parents are out of town so she can fantasize that she's his wife and they're the most richest, most popular adults in town. Yawn. And he does not react to this. She grabs his face and she's like, what's the problem? You've been acting strange all night. Are you f***ing around? Then reminds him, I can name 20 guys who would kill to love me. So go be with them then. Samantha's in the hallway practicing how she's going to greet Jake. Hi Jake, I'm Samantha. How's it going? Do you got a cigarette? Jake, this may sound incredibly dumb, but I love you and I'll do anything to make you love me. I love your shirt. Jake, you are not gonna believe this, but I had this very bizarre dream and you were in it. Which one do you guys think she should have went for? I like the cigarette one. You got a cigarette? The girl even catches Jake right when he's about to leave, collecting his and Caroline's coats on the table. But at the last second, she turns around frozen. Bro even waits for her to say something and smiles. But look at biting his lip, you nasty freaky frog. But she just walks away. Like, you blew it. You f***ing blew it. But you know what? She was probably having a panic attack. Real. A freshman knocks on the boys' bathroom door, hands $1 to the geek's minion, where a bunch of boys are gathered around to see the viewing of Samantha's underpants. This is so pathetic. Long Duck Dong is driving his date's car and speeding through the suburbs. Meanwhile, the Bakers are having dinner with Jenny, her husband, Rudy, and his parents. And Ruby and Max. Rudy and his parents are, to put it nicely, quite sloppy. The guy who plays Rudy, John Capelos, you might recognize from another John Hughes movie, The Breakfast Club, where he plays the janitor. Or when he was a little thicker in the mid-90s and he played Nancy Downs' stepfather from The Craft. Mama Baker says cheers, and instead of sipping classy, Rudy throws it back and asks her if she does shots. Come on, wolf it. Dong drops Sam off at home and the soundtrack is so trifling. The song playing is Turning Japanese by The Vapors. Great song. I've had it on my playlist for a while. But come on now. Dong has been here one day and I've been here my entire life and I'm like a disease. Jake's house is trashed, everybody's drinking, there's toilet paper and garbage everywhere. And bro, he is low-key tight. I don't blame him. The house party thing never appealed to me. I mean, I more so like hosting one because you really want people like effing in your bed, your parents' bed, bodily fluids everywhere, just trash, ants, bugs, the bugs gonna come out. Like people really let these strangers and these classmates trash their house all for the sake of having fun. That's not cute to me. That's not cute, because I will lock this door and say, everybody clean this shit up. I'm not gonna get spiritual up in here, but your living space is very sacred. You are inviting a lot of energy, and then mix that in with alcohol, and with alcohol, that's they say the demons come in and that wall is broken down, you can't protect this. Caroline is wasted and Jake is not having it. Dong and his new girl crash the party, literally. Oh my god, they crashed directly into another car. Jake's in his room roaming the yearbook looking for Sammy Sam's photograph. Obsessed, isn't he? It's kind of hot. Oh. Ted and his minions pull up to the party and Ted's trying to put his friends in check. He's like, we have $70 in a girl's underpants. We're safe as kittens. This is a great opportunity for us. The doorbell is a gong sound as Long Duck Dong answers to let them in, and Ted tells his friends to not be such gets. Jake calls Samantha's personal phone line, which was written on the paper he stole, and the Baker grandparents answer, but not till the exact second he says, "Oh, eat me," then hangs up.
Well, what do they want?
Sex.
Jake calls Samantha's phone again just as Caroline comes up to his bedroom door, drunk talking, and he slams it with his foot, telling her to leave him alone. The Baker grandparents are now fully awake, just waiting for Jake to call one more time, and he does. It takes him a second to speak and formally ask for Samantha, but grandma tell him off. You can tell everybody's drunk because they think that cutting Caroline's hair is the only way to set her free from the door, instead of all of y'all banging on Jake's door and saying, hey, her hair is stuck inside the door, like she can't move. But no, Caroline lets Trace chop her hair. The party comes to an end, and my God, look at this. Look, yo, let's play I Spy. I see a Visa card, ranch dressing, crumbs all over the counter. The telephone is in the olive jar, peanuts. Then I can't even tell what half the other shit is. It's that bad. There's this concoction in the blender, like, oh my God. Jake is walking around his toe-up house, tight as hell, cause all he cares about is talking to Sammy Boo. There's cardboard pizza on the record player, foam coming out the walls, mess. Jake sits down, removing a beer can that reveals the eye of someone under his table. Anthony Michael Hall's voice cracks numerous times throughout this movie. He was 15 when they filmed this, by the way, so, you know, puberty. Oh, by the way, keep that in mind. This next scene is definitely the sweetest in the entire film. Samantha is on the couch asleep, and her father wakes her up, saying he couldn't sleep and calls himself a real jerk for forgetting her birthday. Wow, somebody remembered. Late, but still. She even gives him a little smile and says she's not that upset anymore. As he's about to leave, he can see by the look on his daughter's face that something's bothering her. She does the typical I'm fine, but he sits down next to her and says, I think this has to do with a boy. And almost immediately she jumps up and like embraces into his arms and starts crying like,
I know, honey, I know. We're all upset that Ginny's marrying a bohunk.
You know what? It's Jake. Jake's a senior and he's beautiful and he's perfect. I like him a lot and he doesn't like me, okay? And he's got this incredible girlfriend and I'm just a ridiculous dork that's following him around like a puppy. Her dad tells her if she's a dork and this Jake can't see all the beautiful things he sees in her, then he's the one with the problem. That's why they call them crushes. If it was easy, they'd call him something else. It's really just the fact that Teddy told her that Jake was asking about her. Not only that, the dude smiled at you numerous times, bit his lip, and you sitting up in here moping about this and I'm confused. Sam brings up Jenny saying if she was her, this guy would be crawling all over her, and Papa has to give her a word of advice. I love you both equally, but the thing with Jenny is everything's given to her, and in life when things are given to you, you don't appreciate them as much. Pops doesn't worry about that with Samantha though, and finally tells her when love comes around, it'll be forever. He says he won't be able to sleep unless she tells him this talk has helped her, so she laughs and gives him a kiss. Oh, and one final word of advice. When you do find the right guy, don't let him boss you around. Make sure he knows you wear the pants in the family. Amen. In an earlier draft of the script after this little heart-to-heart, her father's final word was actually supposed to say, what happened to your underwear? Which, you know, we all know that Teddy has. And Molly Ringwald's mother pointed out, like, that is very creepy because why is her father asking about her underwear and how does he know that? So then John Hughes was like, oh yeah, you're right, let's take that out. So it took a woman to point it out for you to be like, oh yeah, that's creepy, you're right. Speaking of panties, Jake's holding hers. New York, New York by Frank Sinatra's playing in the background, and Jake's asking more questions about Samantha. Teddy tells him if all he wanted was a piece of ass from the girl, he'd either do it himself or get someone bigger than him to kick Jake's ass. There are not many girls in the American society these days who will give up their underpants to help a geek like me, Ted says. And you know what? That's actually true. Like, it was very, very weird of her to do that, but it was also kind of sweet. I can get a piece of ass anytime I want. I've got Caroline in the bedroom right now, passed out cold. I can violate her in different ways if I wanted to.
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, you know.
Okay, bud, let's calm down. Anyway, this creep Ted says,
What are you waiting for?
Jake says Caroline's beautiful and she's built and all that, but he's just not interested anymore. And Teddy, being the freaky twink he is, asks if that matters. And Jake says, yes, it does matter. She's totally insensitive. Look at what she did to my house. She doesn't know shit about love. The only thing she cares about is partying. I want a serious girlfriend. Somebody I can love that's gonna love me back. Is that psycho? How sentimental. You never expect those words to come out of the most popular boy in school's mouth, would you? He tells Teddy, I'll make you a deal. You let me keep these, aka Samantha's underpants, and I'll let you take Caroline home. But you gotta make sure she gets home. You can't leave her out in some parking lot somewhere. This guy is allowing this kid, this 15-year-old who he just met today, to drive off and take his girlfriend home. Are you serious to me right now? This guy is sick. Jake. Oh man, you are not really that handsome to me anymore. What the fuck is wrong with you? Even though Teddy is a freshman, even though Teddy doesn't have a car, even though Teddy doesn't have a license, Jake says he trusts him. Ted says he can, and then a simple smash cut later, he's carrying Caroline's limp body. I can't defend this. I don't have a joke for you, I'm sorry. All I gotta say is, you can tell a man wrote this. The sight of Caroline's panties have Ted in a chokehold. She opens her eyes, looking over Ted, and asks Jake,
Who's he?
That's me.
Who are you?
I'm him.
Oh, okay.
It's totally gone. Have fun.
I think watching this at, 14, 15, whenever I first saw it, it was definitely a side eye, but I think if I didn't mention it already in the intro, I haven't watched this movie in probably like 6 years or something like that. And this viewing, I was like, oh God, oh no. Even though I don't really care for Caroline as a character, like, I don't care, that doesn't matter. This is a big no from Papa Parker. Like, bro, this girl is completely unaware of what is happening. Teddy pulls out just as we hear the opening number of Young Guns Go For It by Wham. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that this was where I discovered them from, because I heard this little piece and I was like, hold on, I'm hearing something. Teddy cruises through the city. Caroline is up and going crazy, son, acting like one of those annoying white girl wasted drunk, flailing her arms around and screaming, touching everything. She picks up the phone at one time, playing with the hazard lights, the top roof, and even pulls out a little mint for Ted. And we know how much he loves mints, right? She gave him a birth control pill. He spits the pill out, crashing the car, and tells her that they're not going any further until Caroline stops her childish antics. So she's like, don't be such a poop, and then falls into his lap. Teddy breaks the fourth wall.
I love you.
This is getting good.
So instead of taking Caroline home like he was supposed to, he decides to go to Cliff and Bryce's house to show them his prize for the night. And guess what he asks them for? A camera. Molly Ringwald said in a 2018 interview that she was extremely uncomfortable with a lot of the sexually charged and themed scenes, but specifically this scene where passed out drunk Caroline is being taken pictures of by Teddy. But she also admitted that Haviland Morris, who plays Caroline, told her that it didn't bother her. So, if it doesn't bother her, why should it bother? No, it bothers me. No, it bothers me, I'm sorry. Cliff and Bryce are completely in shock that Ted was able to get 2 girls in one night, and they call him a legend. He tells them to hurry up and set up the cameras because he's breaking 30 major laws. Yeah, no kidding, freaking pervert. His picture with Caroline is for proof so everyone can believe him that he had a hot night with the prom queen.
How does this look?
Wait a minute, you know, black and white, it would just capture the moment so nicely, wouldn't it? Oh.
You take the picture already?
Why does that sound like something my film director, pretentious ass, would say? Ted tells Caroline to smile and she says, cheese! They take the picture and the picture only captured a section of Ted's face. LOL, that's what he gets. The next cut always confused me as a teen watching this, I remember, because it's like we see these 2 close-up shots of Samantha laying on the couch and then Jake in his bed. But I always, for whatever reason, I always thought like the film was trying to tell us that Samantha was like hallucinating him, like laying across the room from her or something. It's weird. But what's actually happening is it's just showing them each in bed thinking about one another. Long Duck Dong is passed out the next morning in the yard and he's woken up by a golden retriever. Grandma Baker's cooking and the other grandmother is trying to help her when she's really just in the way. And on top of that, she has a goddamn cigarette hovering over all the food and the ashes are seconds away from falling off. Oh my god, pissing me off. I would have cussed her out.
I'll just wait till I hear from you then.
Voila, breakfast is ready.
Just dirty and classless. Samantha comes upstairs and her mother officially apologizes for forgetting her birthday, going ugly face and blubbering as she should, because Sam was definitely throwing you signals left and right and you were not won't picking it up. Fun fact, this scene wasn't even in the script. Once again, a woman, the actress who played her mother, pulled John aside and said that she felt like her mother there should be a scene with them, reconciling. He didn't even have that, and like, oh, the mother didn't have a little scene to, take a moment with her daughter and apologize, but the father did. But the man. When the girls arrived to the ceremony, Jenny reveals she took 4 muscle relaxers. Now, why would you do that? We go back to the date B story where Ted wakes up with his headgear on by Caroline, and neither of them have any idea what happened. I understand her because she was wasted, but Teddy, when were you drinking? There's a few beer cans in the back seat. You can see a little bit, but this ain't hard liquor. He remembered. What did you do to her? What the did you do to Caroline? She doesn't know what's happened to the clump of her hair, and she's very calm about all of this. Teddy asks if both of them had sex, and she says, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Then he asks Caroline if she enjoyed it.
I have this weird feeling I did.
Oh, goddamn. Written by a fucking man. Because the only way to fix a situation like this and not make it look bad, the drunk girl being taken advantage of by, a guy, this little kid, is to make her say that she enjoyed it.
Let's be honest. Let us be fucking honest. This is a crucifixion. This is political.
All 4 of these muscle relaxers are kicking in and Jenny is high as hell. Miss Mama is acting like she took, 1,000 milligram edible. Douchebag Jake pulls up to Samantha's crib and Long Duck Dong answers the door screaming when he sees Jake, because the night before Jake punched him in the eye after Dong grabbed his nuts. He thought Jake was his new style American girlfriend. When Jake asks where Samantha is, Long Duck Dong says she's at the church getting married, mixing his girls up. Jenny's about to go out and get her ring, but she is completely out of it and falls out. The parents are in the back screaming, saying, we don't want everyone to know that she's got her period. And womp womp, everybody can hear. Rudy's mother's dress is really killing me. Like, baby doll, this is a wedding. What are you wearing? What are you wearing? Jenny starts walking down the aisle with her father, and she asks a woman to move over so she can sit down. Look, this marriage is not gonna last long, let's say that. Caroline says she's never went out with a freshman, even when she was a freshman, telling Teddy that he was pretty crazy last night. But you know what she liked best?
Waking up in your arms.
Oh!
Then, oh my God, they actually kiss. Remember how I said, keep in mind Anthony Michael Hall's age? Anthony Michael Hall was 15 when they filmed this, and Haviland Morris was 24. Imagine you're 24 years old. Would you be okay with kissing a 15-year-old? Serious question. Oh, okay. Jake pulls up on them at the right moment and Teddy is about to paint his tighty-whities. Jake apologizes to Caroline saying he didn't mean for her to get mixed up with the guy. And why are we lying? Because you just willingly handed her over like she was disposable. And Caroline says it's fine. It wasn't too terrible. But you were still taken advantage of, baby. You know, you were not in the right state of mind, and then your boyfriend, your supposed boyfriend, told you that he was someone else. She apologizes about the party and lots of things in between. They hug it out and agree to separate, blah blah. It's the end of the wedding and Jenny is still acting like a mess. All over the concrete steps, classless. But you know what? She having fun. She looked like she having fun. Samantha goes back into the chapel to get her sister's veil, and when she comes out, she realizes that she's missed seeing them leave. A bunch of cars are blocking Mr. Ryan, but we all know this ending. He's right at the end awaiting for her with his little Porsche. So are we not going to talk about the fact that everybody just like left Sam there? The hell? She asks Jake what he's doing here. He says, I heard you were here. Blah, blah, blah. Don't care about this dialogue. Let's end this damn movie. Even though I could have sworn everybody had left for plot reasons, we see the rest of the family across the street diagonal to Jake's car. And she locks eyes with her father saying, that's the boy. Before they drive off and we fade into our final shot. You know, I will admit, I love this shot. This is like one of the most famous stills of cinema in the rom-com category, this shot. And you have to give it props, you know, outside of how I feel, it's a great shot. I'm not going to take that away from it. They sit across from each other from a birthday cake with 16 candles that's made out of cardboard, by the way, since when they used a real cake, it kept melting over the long takes.
Happy birthday, Samantha. Good wish.
It already came true.
Then they both slowly lean forward and kiss. Oh, and y'all not off the hook either. Michael was 23 and Molly was also 15 years old. Oh my God, why? Jonathan, why did you allow this? We could have panned away as they leaned in. We could have faded to a blur. We could have freeze framed right before they locked lips. But no, let's watch for the second time, mind you. Let's watch a grown-ass adult kiss a minor. Lick my balls. Roll the outro, man. You know, I'll probably get called awoke for my take, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. That's fine. And even though I hate that word because of what it's become, that is unfortunately an effect of that side of right-wingers who lack empathy and principle. Yup. Bloop, blop, bleep, blop, bloop. I said it. Anyway, this film was targeted towards teen girls and resonates a lot with that demographic, which is very contradicting with the framing of the film's structure and how the male gaze is put front and center. And I mean that by like a lot. Am I saying there should be scenes with Jake Ryan shirtless? Am I saying Samantha should be more sexually promiscuous? Or am I saying that I need to flat out see a love scene? No. But the design of Samantha's attraction to Jake is very filtered, you know, in comparison to, say, Teddy. Now let me bring up Caroline because she's where it gets messy. Sweet Caroline is portrayed as the wrong kind of girl. Loud, sexual, drunk. So the movie treats her as disposable. Her being passed around and jokingly taken advantage of is played for laughs. That is male gaze 101. 1. Women's bodies and agency reduced to props for male desire and humor. Even Sam's reward at the end, a date with Jake, isn't about her self-actualization. It's about her being chosen. Her story arc concludes when the hot guy acknowledges her existence, not because she's done any growing. And we can't forget the sudden, very random lingering of Caroline in the showers very early in the film. Jonathan knew what he was doing. And do you know what else? Samantha doesn't even drive her own narrative. She's reactive, in a holding pattern, waiting for Jake to notice her, while the film shifts attention to Farmer Ted's escapades, or Jake's love life, and everyone else's arc except hers. That's one of the more irritating aspects with this movie that flies under the radar. Sam is not a proactive protagonist. She's just moping the entire movie. I feel like Teddy is given more screen time in terms of expressing his desires, his frustrations, and his wins. He's the underdog, the nice guy, even though he's incredibly perverted and creepy, and he gets rewarded for his persistence, even as it slides into harassment territory. The film wants us to empathize with him, prioritizing male desire, male awkwardness, male coming of age, even when the story pretends to center a girl. I don't like that. I don't like that. If this is going to be Ted's story, then make it about him. Yes, you know what? Yes, peer pressure and the male insecurity is extremely real, and that's its own thing, but he's not the protagonist, bro. Now check this. The male gaze begins warping morality. Jake Ryan is framed as the ultimate catch, the sensitive jock, the unattainable dreamboat. But whoa, run it back. He gets bored of his girlfriend. He admits he could take advantage of her and gives her away to another boy. Yet, the movie paints him as desirable because he's willing to kick it with the awkward virginal Samantha. The power imbalance here is brutal. Jake is older, wealthier, and socially dominant, while Samantha is awkward, invisible, and from a middle-class family. The movie suggests that her ultimate achievement is being chosen by someone with more power. Baby doll, this is male fantasy dressed up as female wish fulfillment. Even the happy ending is suspect. And yeah, I called it iconic. It is iconic, the little still, but I'm talking visually, not literally. Sam's agency is nowhere in sight. Like, bro, Jake orchestrated the whole thing. He bought the cake, and it's like she's given the fantasy ending that he deems appropriate, right? I don't know, something that always bothers me is the way that women are portrayed on screen. Their entire being, their entire arc, their entire purpose always is centered around a goddamn man. Being the love interest or having all their problems revolve around being the perfect embodiment of femininity to feel worthy of the dream fantasy, falling in love. There's this film called Beau Travail I watched maybe like 2 weeks ago, and in short, the movie is about masculinity. All male cast, and it was made by a woman. And I saw this review on Letterboxd that pointed out, they said, maybe I should look for it and put it on the screen. If not, whatever, I'm gonna tell you anyway. How is it that women can portray masculinity so well, but when a man tries to portray femininity, they can never get it right? Women are complex beings, man. They demand respect. I don't need to tell you the reason that we've had decades of misogyny and inequality in that regard is because we like to control things that we fear. And that's just some real shit right there. The reason that all these men treat women like trash is because they don't understand them. The emotional intelligence and the speed at which a woman is more prone to emotionally mature faster is crazy. Y'all mad. You mad? You mad? Sorry if I'm going off track. Back to 16 Candles. The Sam and Caroline thing. They're two sides of the same coin in the male eye. One is a reward and one is a discarded object. But hold on, baby. Hold on, baby. I got more. Let's go a layer deeper. This male gaze doesn't just reflect culture. It perpetuates it. It trained a whole generation of viewers to internalize these dynamics. Boys were taught that persistence, even harassment, gets rewarded. Girls were taught that being noticed by a boy is, the ultimate validation. And compare that to the female gaze, which I feel centers subjectivity over objectification. Example, films like Lady Bird or The Virgin Suicides, which focus on how it feels to move through the world as a girl. They're not about being seen, but they're about seeing. Ladies, please, I'd encourage it. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you disagree. What I think clicked with general female audiences was how Sam was the typical every teen, the girl next door, relatable, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, this charmer is into her without knowing a damn thing about her, and we're just molding Jake as the perfect guy. Sure, he's handsome and polite, but that's it. Oh, and I didn't even rag on Anthony being 15 and Haviland being 24. I've said my little two-piece on the age thing, Molly and Anthony 15. There were ways to work around that. Like I said, panning away over the shoulder, just pretending they kissed. But no, you wanted to see it. The long duck dong thing speaks for itself. I don't need to get into that. The sound effects, the xenophobia, everything about the character down to the name is a stereotype. Bro, the actor doesn't even have an accent and was criticized by his own community for entertaining that role. But look, it is what it is. It's just another example of how the 1980s humor, that whole decade, the humor just came at the expense of marginalized groups. John Hughes absolutely had a major effect on the teen genre, and he's inspired lots of films, millions down the line. Well, millions is a little bit much. Anyway, that doesn't mean that he's untouchable. I'ma still call you out, brother. One of the telling powers of film are that they reveal a lot about where society is at culturally upon release. And wow, we were not perfect. We're not perfect today, but a lot of the hooligan activity is questioned, and questions are good. Keep questioning. Yeah, keep questioning. If this exact script was made today, this movie would be crucified. Down to the root, 16 Candles' biggest red flag is that it suggests getting noticed by the hottest guy is the ultimate validation. Such a tired trope for female characters, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. How do you feel about 16 Candles? Does it hold up in your opinion? Am I just being a sensitive little bitch? No one's off limits from speaking their mind. Just be ready for the fire from whoever when it comes. That's all I'm saying. If you have an opinion, state it, defend it, and stand on it. It's simple. If you're new here and made it this far, consider subscribing. I would love to have you. Give your homie a thumbs up, share this with your friends, and turn on those bell notifications so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Until next time, my friends, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and take care of your spirit.